And actually, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Because I know me. And
so that's our life mission. That's the McShin's mission.
You don't have to understand my boundaries to respect them.
Well, no, I'm the president and co-founder of McShin, a person in long-term recovery from substance use disorders.
How do you go about fixing the damage in the trust between the family after you get out?
Okay, I gotta work on that.
Celebrating my 6 months. Didn't have a cake.
Yeah.
Gosh, showed up.
Hey, welcome to Getting the Herd, brought to you by McShin Foundation. My name's Rachel. People call me Ray. Got a special guest here. I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell you a little bit about her.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm with Recovery Corps. I work at the Imagine the Freedom Day Center. Yep.
Okay. And like I said, my name's Rachel. I drive for McShin. I work on the weekend staff, so good time. Basically, Sarah's like my best friend, one of them, and so I brought her on the show because there's a lot of real life stuff that's happening in our life that I feel like, people could definitely benefit from, like the struggles of what we've had to do in recovery and just what our life is in recovery. It's not all roses and butterflies. It's definitely been some hard times. So, I guess like what was the biggest for you, Sarah? What was the biggest struggle that you've been through in recovery this time? How long you got clean?
So I've got about 16 months clean at this point.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. I think one of the biggest struggles for me is kind of just going through different phases. When I got into recovery, I actually started out in a program in the Chesterfield County Jail, and I was there for quite a while. So it was learning a lot of the things that I had to learn within that program, a lot of behavioral changes.
Yeah, definitely.
That was really hard. I found myself getting in a lot of trouble. I just couldn't break a lot of the habits. I was a really angry person.
Yeah, I can relate.
And that was really hard. It took a long time. And then transitioning out into a recovery house, I transitioned to true recovery.
Okay.
And so I was there for a while. And that was a big struggle, going from being incarcerated to getting back into society and figuring out, what I was going to do to pay my rent and my bills. And so, I got a job and just doing whatever. And then most recently, I just actually transferred out of the recovery house into my own place. And so that's been a really big struggle. I was going from living with, 14 or 15 girls, and now I'm at house by myself. And so when I wake up in the morning, it's quiet. And when I go to sleep at night, it's quiet.
Do you have any struggles as far as like, I mean, you're right, because living in housing too, I can relate. Like, you have somebody telling you when to do whatever you need
to do.
Yeah. And it's like, do you have more temptation? I guess, like, maybe more temptation, but do you find it easier to like slide off the path?
So I have found it like meetings and stuff, like I have to force myself to go to a lot more meetings. I have to force myself to, get out of the bed and go socialize with the network that I've built for myself. And that's challenging sometimes because it's easy to just chill at the house, clean up a little bit and then, watch whatever TV show I feel like watching and kind of getting out of that. So, I forced myself into calling my network. I forced myself into, going to X amount of meetings a week, or even, going over to my mom's house or my family's house. And,
I ain't gonna lie, like, so like I lost my mom 2021, right? Yeah, and I lost her, and like I got 18 months clean, and next month I have 19. That's the longest I've ever been clean, like crazy. But it's just like that has been one of the hardest things I've ever had to do sober. It's like losing my mom. I've lost people as far as in the program and stuff, which that sucks and that's sad. Like losing somebody to addiction or to whatever it may be. Yeah. But like when it's in your family, man, it's like that sucks. Like I have been like, even when she died, like I've been like on this roller coaster, dude, of like emotions, like not really like saying, you know, F you recovery, but it's been a challenge. It's been like, dude, like I don't want to go to meetings. I don't want to talk about how I feel. I don't want to call my sponsor. Like, I don't want to do these things, but it's like, and then I got into so I promised my mom in the hospital, like when she was dying, I was like, she was alive and I was talking to her. She couldn't really talk back, but she would say, okay, like that, bless her little heart. And I told her, I was like, if you need to go and be with God, like, I won't get high. And she was like, she looked at me and shook her head. She was like, okay. And then, so I've been keeping that promise to her, but I did struggle with like gambling. Like, and I talked to you about it too. It was like, I fell into, okay, well, I'm not using, but I can substitute, whether it may be sex or whether it's gambling. Like, I was doing all of that, just trying to fill a void besides doing like recovery stuff.
Yeah.
Like going to like meetings and talking to my sponsor, like I said, like I just didn't want to do that. Like, I know some people, like, I used to have a reservation and say when my mom died, I would go get high. Do you have any reservations, or do you think like if this happened that I just couldn't, man, like I just couldn't face it?
That's crazy that you asked me that, because I've been thinking about it a whole lot lately. I lived with my grandmother for a really long time, when I was growing up, when I was older.
Right.
And so I think about that, she's starting to get a lot older, her memory's going, and I'm starting to see signs. And I mean, I don't think she's going to go anytime soon, but I think about that and I'm like,
absolutely,
what am I going to do when she's not here anymore?
Yeah.
And, when I used to think about it when I was a little bit earlier in recovery, I was like, I ain't gonna make it through that.
Right, absolutely. That's what I said.
But then, like, I meet all these people that have been in recovery, that have lost people, or that are dealing with, other things, whether it's losing someone you love or dealing with something else that's not necessarily a death, but it's still a loss. And I see all these people dealing with it in some way or another, like whether it's gambling or shopping or whatever. At least y'all aren't using.
Right.
And that's really inspiring to me. And it kind of gives me hope, and it gives me a little bit of faith that maybe, I'll be able to do that too when that time does come.
I definitely thought like you when I was in early recovery that there was just no way that I was gonna make it when she died or passed away. But it's like, I've learned a lot, even from gambling or losing her, that everything that doesn't happen is a catastrophe. As far as like, it's I can use it as an excuse to be like, oh, I'm gonna go and get high, but it's like it don't have to be one. It's like, and then with the gambling thing, it's like I've learned, like, you don't think maybe like, when like my brother works out a lot, but he's not an addict, but it's like if I worked out a lot, or if I was having sex a lot, or if I was gambling a lot, or if I'm shopping a lot, it's like you don't at first see that as like, oh, I'm trying to fill the void, or I'm trying to, I'm doing the same behaviors that I was doing when I was getting high. And it's like that totally, like the whole gambling thing with me totally crept up on me. Like totally. I was like doing it after she died, and it was like, okay, I can handle this. I'd go and play and I'd come home. And then it turned into, no way, dude. Like, you got to do this every day. And now it's not like that, and I'm grateful it's not. But for a while, it was like that. And I don't know. I guess a lot of people has been asking me. I'm here at McShin, and I guess a lot of people are. They don't want to stay past the 28-day program. They don't want to do sober living, or they're not sure what sober living is, or they may not think they need sober living. Did you do a program in sober living, or?
So when I got out of the heart program in the Chesterfield jail, I went straight into the RCO that I went to, and I was in a 30-day intensive program where, I wasn't allowed to work. I wasn't allowed to do much other than, go to the center and do my groups and go to meetings at night. and focus primarily on myself and getting myself back in order. But previous times I, had gone into, different RCOs, and then I would stay for a couple months, and then I'd feel like I could do it and I got this, like,
Yeah, definitely.
I don't need this place.
Right,
like
right.
and those addictive behaviors started to creep back in.
Yeah.
And so I promised myself this time that it was going to be different and that I was going to give it at least 6 months.
Yeah.
And I actually ended up staying almost 9.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even really planning on moving out when I did, but like a situation happened and it gave me that option and the ability.
I didn't even know, like, it wasn't until this time I came in, like, we got the same sponsor, so shout out to her. But she was like, because I had relapsed before when I was at other places, because I wanted to, but like she was like, it's not about the drugs, it's about your behaviors. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Dude, yeah.
Because I was like, no way. I was like, if I could just stop doing A and B, which was drug related, I'd be fine. You know what I'm saying? I never thought like I was the problem. I thought the drugs was the problem. And then it comes to find out, it's like, it's not like that at all. Like, did you find any, I guess, like, what were your behaviors that you saw maybe when you put down the drugs that you saw were like, oh crap, that is a problem that I'm doing?
I mean, for real, like, I just thought I could own whatever program I was in. Like, I was going to make that program my bitch. And it got to a point where, like, I couldn't do that. I had to realize that I couldn't form that program into what I wanted it to be.
Right.
I had to conform to that program if I was going to do anything different.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I was a nasty girl. Like, I wouldn't have even wanted to be my friend.
Yeah.
I was just so mean and so hateful, and I didn't care about anybody but myself. I was self-absorbed, and I thought I could talk to anybody any kind of way I wanted to.
Yeah.
But what made me realize that I needed to do something different is this time around, people still loved me regardless of the way that I treated them.
Right.
They confronted me on those behaviors, but they still loved me anyways.
Yeah.
And so I think I was so used to following a lot of those behaviors because that just pushed people away. And then I didn't have to deal with anything,
Absolutely.
right? So this time it was a little bit different because, they were still there. And I was like, what the hell? I just treated this person like shit and they're still right there.
Yeah. Yeah. I was, when I had relapsed, I was like, I kept thinking about the people in the rooms that I've met so far, and it's like they're still like happy and like, loving life, and even though it may be hard, like they're still glad they're sober. And I'm like, well, then what am I missing? Thinking I need to go back out there and get some more, because it is not the same every time you get. It's worse every time you go back out, and it's like, I never knew that either until as I got older and was doing that. But it's like the people in the rooms, really, and our sponsor, she was a big inspiration for, I'm sorry, I just made some noise. She was a big inspiration for me, like, definitely, because she always, like, she never dropped me. She always encouraged me to come back. And I really don't think if, like, she wasn't in my life and played that role in my life, like, that I probably wouldn't be here, or maybe I would, but maybe I wouldn't, like, she definitely played a big part in my life, and I'm thankful for that. Like, have you met those people that have just went over and beyond for you in recovery, and just like you never thought like these people don't exist? Like,
well, I mean, our sponsor, for one,
for real.
I mean, the first time that I was ever in recovery, I walked up to her and I was like, you're going to be my sponsor. And she didn't even remember because I was in recovery for such a little period of time. And then this time when I came around, I was like, hey, I talked to you one time, one time on these church steps, and you're going to be my sponsor. And she was like, well, I'm not sponsoring anybody right now. And I was like, okay, well, you're going to sponsor me. I know she's probably told you that story once or twice.
Yeah.
But I was kind of like, a bug that wouldn't get off of her at first. And I just pushed and pushed and pushed. But like, it was cool because when I was in jail and then I got released from jail, all those people that I was in there with that had gotten released, they were at the same place that I went to.
Okay.
So I was able to build relationships with those
Yeah.
people inside and then still have them on the outside.
Yeah. It's cool. Like you said with that, like I came to McShin in I think 2019, and I had lived with some people, and then when I I came back this time, it's like they're in positions here or positions
Yeah.
elsewhere, and like that's so cool. Like
Yeah.
it really is, because I mean, you just don't think, like, I don't know what you think, maybe, like, as far as like when I was in there, I was like, I didn't think nobody's gonna like work at a recovery center. Like, you're gonna come in here, you're gonna get sober, and you're gonna do whatever you need to, and you're gonna leave. But it's so cool coming back and seeing them like in positions and like helping other people. And I'm glad they gave me the opportunity to start helping other people, because really it helps yourself.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to ask, how do you like, the positions that you're in,
I mean,
these days?
so I'm a house leader too, and I'm not gonna lie, like, you deal with different people, so it's like that can be kind of like not weird, but it's like you gotta learn how to come at people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you gotta learn how to relate to different people. It's like maybe the way I come at you, and like, because we're more friends, I'm like, yo, Sarah, like, bro, you gotta go in there and clean your room because your shit look ugly. But
Yeah.
I can't say that to maybe somebody else who's maybe
Mhm.
more sensitive or something like that. But the driving thing I like doing, because you're in an intimate space as far as like driving with somebody, and you get to hear those, the newcomer. I don't know why I keep doing that, bro.
You're good.
But I keep, you hear about the like, especially when they're new, and I go and pick them up from the airport or something. Like, you get to watch them, and then you get to see them when it's over with. So that's pretty cool.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah, definitely. And then I'm weekend staff at the intensive house for women, and that is cool because it's like, I don't know, it's just cool watching people change, and it's cool to be able to be there for somebody. Because I remember one time, I think God put me in this position. I don't think, I know. He put me in this position as far as like opening doors for me. Because one time I had overdosed, one of the many times, and I woke up in this psych hospital, and I was like looking out the window, and I was like crying and stuff. And I was like, why am I even here? Like, I had relapsed so many times. Like, my family hated me. Like, I was, in my eyes, like a loser. Like, I was doing nothing with my life. Like, I felt like such like emptiness and like loneliness. And I was like,
point?
yeah, I was like, what's the point of being here? And I just heard God say, like, I want you to help people who the way you have felt that they feel. And I want you to remind them that they're not alone and that they can do this. And ever since then, it's like, I haven't been perfect, but I am glad when somebody comes back and says, what you said in there or what you did right there really, really like helped me out a lot. That's like so rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, what career wise you like? Are you trying to stick and stay in the field, or what are you trying to do?
Yeah, so right now I am working for Recovery Corps, and
Okay.
and that's really cool. I get to work with a lot of, of the brand new people,
Oh yeah.
and
Okay.
I love it.
Really quick before we go into like what you guys are going to do with work and stuff.
Okay.
Sarah, so did you say like you have 19 months? How long?
No, I have 16 months.
And this is the longest time you've had?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and you have tried to get in recovery before? Have you been to different RCOs and just kept relapsing, as most of us do? What was different this time? Like, what was the turning point where, you were, or like, what did you do differently this time to be able to, put together that amount of time?
So I guess this time versus the other times is, I would get locked up and I would be in jail for like a month or two, and then I'd come home and I'd go to an RCO. This time was different. this time I spent about 8 months in a program in the Chesterfield County Jail. And so I was able to actually build some kind of foundation to my recovery before I got out. So like I went in not wanting it and having to be there, but that 8-month period of time gave me the time to want it for myself instead of it being forced on me. So I think that's what made the most difference, is I was finally just able to sit still.
So you were kind of forced to do it though, because you were in jail.
Yeah. Well, with the program that I was in, like, if you don't want to be there, you don't have to be there.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if I wanted to, just go and sit in a regular pod, like I could have. And if I didn't change, then they would have removed me from the program. So the only option that I had was to go sit in Riverside or let this program mold me into a better person.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so that's what I chose.
I think, I think that's helped a lot of people. Like, where I'm different in your story, like, I only got incarcerated once, and but I should have been incarcerated as much as I've done in my life. But I remember the turning point for me coming up here this time and having 18 months clean this time is, like, the way you feel about yourself is one thing, when you're out there getting high, but the way people treat you, like the way people had treated me as far as like, oh, she's just a crackhead and she's not a person and she doesn't have feelings and, I can do or say whatever I want to her. I've been thrown out of cars, I've been raped, I've been, guns drawn on me and all that. And it's like, I got tired of people not seeing me and me not seeing myself as a person, like who has value and who has like I don't care what you're doing, like you're a person, you have a heart, you have feelings, like you matter. And I got tired of me not mattering to me, but also like for the last time, like somebody had spit in my face when before I came up here, drug dealer, and he had pulled a gun on me and stuff, and I was just like, you know what, that's it. Like I'm just done. I'm done when people treat me like that. I don't want to be treated like that. And I don't want to keep putting myself in situations like that.
Yeah.
Like at all. Like, because you end up putting yourself in, I don't know about you, but I ended up putting myself in a lot of dangerous situations. A lot of dangerous situations. Situations where nobody should be, but no female should be, And it's just, I don't know. And you know what they say, like before you start using drugs, like you see your behavior before. Like, did you see that? Like when you got sober, did you understand what people were talking about when they said that? Like, because I didn't get it at first. Like, they say you can tell you're an addict sometimes before you even pick up the drug by your behaviors. Did you see that when you were growing up, or?
Now that I look back, yeah. I mean, I had a lot of behaviors that mimicked like ADHD. I think a lot more of it was anxiety and depression from a lot of the traumas that I endured as a child.
Yeah.
And those behaviors, like the manipulation of like my mom, like I was always able to manipulate her into getting out of whatever consequence like she had given me, or like if she took my phone, or I couldn't go play outside with my friends, like by the end of the night I was doing what I wanted to do anyways. And so a lot of those things I think made those behaviors acceptable. And so then I didn't realize that they were wrong. So once I started getting older, it was other situations that I manipulated. And although I always told myself that I was never going to use because my father was an addict. But then like it got to the point where like it was cool. It was cool. It was all the cool kids were doing. And so of course, I had all this, trauma as a young child. So I just wanted to fit in where I fit in. And that's where I fit in.
Yeah. I think I relate to a lot of that. Like I had a lot of trauma in my childhood as well. And then growing up, like I had the identity of I played sports a lot.
Okay.
So it's like that's what I was doing, and my whole identity was wrapped up in that. And then when I tore my ACL, and I was like, I didn't have that anymore. And then I broke my hand in 12th grade, tore my ACL again, and it's like once you don't have that identity anymore, it's like I was trying to find something.
Anything.
Yeah. And, and they gave me medicine, of course, pain pills for my knee and stuff. And after that, it was like downhill.
Downhill from there.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think like I wish like growing up, maybe I could have advocated for myself more looking back. But it's like when you're only like maybe like 4 or 8 or 10, it's like you're scared. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I wish maybe I could have just said something or did something as far as like to say, hey, I'm hurting and I might need counseling or something like this, But I didn't do that. And so then I really felt like that I played a part as far as my addiction too.
Yeah.
Like definitely, So I don't know. I'm grateful for every experience I've been through though, because it's brought me here today. But like I said, I don't know. I just when you go through stuff as a kid, you feel like you don't have anybody there for you.
Yeah.
And you just feel lonely and like out of place and stuff. But and I think I've heard a lot of people who share with me like they have had childhood trauma. And so if we had somebody listening who was going through that, what would your advice be for that, as far as somebody maybe who's going through that, who's hurting, who don't know where to go, don't know who to talk to? Like, what would you say to them?
I mean, gosh, that's
I know,
hard.
it's a tough one.
That's a really tough piece right there.
That's why I gave you the question.
I mean, if I could look back and tell myself anything when I was younger, I'd tell myself just to hold on a little bit longer, because things aren't always going to be this way.
Yeah.
Find somebody, anybody to talk to.
Yeah.
Just to get it off your chest, or like just let somebody know that you feel lonely.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to hold it in, like voice. So just like, today we're taught to like voice it to somebody when we feel like using,
right.
Like you have to voice those things.
Right.
And if I had as a child, then maybe things would have been different.
Yeah.
But I was in a mindset where I had to do it all myself.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do it alone.
Right.
You don't have to do anything in this life alone.
Yeah. I think if I could tell myself anything when I was younger, it would be to be able to like forgive me a lot. Like like forgive yourself a lot, because there's a lot of guilt and shame when you start using, a lot of it. And I have a lot of, still to this day, it's like I have a lot of regret. Like when my mom died, I wish she got to see me clean, and I'm grateful. I'm so grateful to God for that. But I wish there was more time that I could have took care of her. She was bedbound and in the bed and stuff. So that I regret. I am grateful that she got to see me clean and sober before she passed away, and that's all that I wanted her to see me. You know, but it's like, man, learn how to forgive yourself, because you're
That's
gonna
a
like,
tough piece,
it
man.
is. It's like, I don't know, like for me, like I carry around so much guilt or like shame or like just weight on me from like things that I haven't done, or I should have did, or I could have did this but I didn't do that. And it's like that can be a problem in recovery too.
Yeah, it can. It can. I mean, I know that when my dad died, I think the last words I said to him was I cussed him out because he was trying to ask money from the family. He was sick with cancer and he wanted a moped. And so it's like I cussed him out because he was asking for money, because that's all he ever did. But like, I still feel that shame and that guilt in there, because now I know what it's like to be an addict. And so I know what it's like to be mentally, in that addiction, and like all you're doing is you're fiending for that next one, and you can't get out of that loop. And so I just wish that I would have been able to give him a little bit more grace. The grace that was given to me, Absolutely. I was never able to give to him.
That's crazy that you said that, because me and my dad got in an argument today, and I had said some words to him that I'm gonna say sorry to now, Dad. And because I do love my dad, and my dad has been the number one supporter for me. But like you said, grace, like I need to show mercy like mercy was shown to me.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely. And sometimes I have a problem doing that. You know, like I don't know why I have a problem doing it. I think because of pride sometimes, but I definitely want to be able to extend the hand that was extended to me.
Yeah.
You know, that is a valuable piece. I'm glad you said that.
Of course.
Yeah. So we're gonna take a break real quick.
Here at McShin, we believe in the McShin way, which is authentic recovery support service providers, people with lived experience, bringing that experience to those who need that lived experience in recovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in many things to support our mission. We believe in women empowerment.
What I love most about what we believe here at McShin is we believe in the authenticity of the peer-to-peer approach.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in giving people opportunity.
Here at McShin, we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person.
At the McShin Foundation, we believe in helping people reach their full potential.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in multiple pathways to recovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in placing principles before personalities to help spread hope.
Here at McShin, we believe that recovery is possible and that any person seeking recovery can become a more acceptable, responsible, and productive member of society.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in self-discovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in saving lives and offering second chances.
Here at McShin, we believe you can do this.
Here at McShin Foundation, we believe that we can only keep what we have by giving away, which is why we continue to help others like us seek and find recovery.
Welcome back to Getting in the Herd, brought to you by McShin Foundation. Today we have Sarah with us. If you've been listening, we appreciate it. And if you're just joining, we appreciate that too. So I guess where we left off, we talked about a lot today. But so what do you? I guess for you, like, where do you see yourself as far as like you're working now in the recovery field?
Yeah.
Like, do you? Now that you've dabbled in it some, do you want to continue doing it, or what do you want to do as far as after this? You know.
So they say new possibilities arise, or lost dreams awaken, new possibilities arise.
Right.
So like one of my dreams growing up as a kid was to become a social worker and to work with kids that were dealing with that had parents that were in active addiction.
Right.
But so now I'm working with people that are brand new in recovery, and I love it.
Right.
I absolutely love it. And I'd really like to stay in this field. I feel like, me going through active addiction has given me more purpose than ever even going to like school or college. Like it's shown me what I really want to do. I can use my experience to help the next one. And, from what I've experienced so far, that has helped more people than any of the school knowledge that I ever learned when I was younger. So, I don't know exactly what the next steps will be. I'm working with Recovery Corps right now, and then I have my PRS. I'm in line to, take the test to get my CPRS, and I like to get registered with the state. And I mean, there's so many opportunities out there,
Right.
for people that have their PRS to, do all the things that I'm already doing.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I took the recovery coach training, so I'm a recovery coach.
Okay.
And really, like, it was funny because I didn't plan on doing any of this, right? Like,
Yeah.
so I came over here and like some doors open and they were like, "Hey, would you like to do this?" And I was like, "Sure." And they were like, "Hey, we want you to do this. Would you like to do that?" I was like, "Sure." And
Yeah.
it's like, but now that I'm doing it, it's like I love it. You know what I'm saying? And I want to go in to the jails, help them. Like,
Yeah.
I also want to do it was a big thing in my story, hospitals,
Yeah.
mental hospitals and stuff. So I definitely want to go back and maybe talk to them, share with them. I on a big spectrum, like, I want to help us, whether it's a kid, adult, or senior. I don't care who it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to do something as far as that. Like, I don't know, if I wasn't working with addicts and helping people and people weren't helping me, then I'd probably want to like work in a nursing home, take care of people, because it meant a lot for me to take care of my mom when I could. So like, and that means a lot to people, who can't take care of themselves. So I'd probably want to do something like that. But yeah, right now I'm just trying to learn as much as I can, and learning, like, trying to implement that in my life and to show that to other people,
Yeah.
which sometimes can be hard for me.
Yeah.
So, it's I don't know. Sometimes I don't want people looking up to me, because it's like, if I make a mistake, like, like, don't look at me.
Do you ever like feel like you're the wrong person? Like, oh, why are you coming like
Absolutely.
being in a position where people look up to you? I feel like I get that like imposter syndrome sometimes.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, oh, you're coming at me for help?
Yeah, I feel like that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, why are you talking to me? Like, why am I in this position?
Why are you asking me these questions?
Right.
And then I realize I've been trusted
Yeah.
to be put in a position where people can ask me these questions,
Yeah.
because my opinion or my experience is valued.
Right. And it's great when like people higher up can trust you with stuff.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know what situation it was, but somebody had trust me with their money or something. I forgot what it was, and I was like, "You trusting me like with this?" Like,
Yeah.
back in the day, bro, would have like bing gone. But it's like you said, like, it's rewarding and having somebody just to trust you at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know, that I like about the job
Yeah.
as well. Like, there's some perks I like about it, but like you said, like, wondering if I'm the right person for the job, or like, since it is all eyes on you, or all eyes on me, as far as somebody looking up to you, do you feel like extra weight on that for you, or do you feel like you got to walk a straight line, or how do you feel as far as that?
I feel like it actually helps me in my personal recovery. Like, I try to live by the things that I'm teaching other people.
Absolutely.
And so if I'm not walking the walk, like, I can't just talk the talk. It's just not something that I can do. So, those times that have thought about using, what I go back to is, how am I going to be able to help anybody if I'm using?
Yeah.
How am I going to be able to help anybody if I'm not going how can I tell somebody to go to meetings if I'm not going to
Absolutely.
meetings? How can I tell or recommend somebody do these things if I'm not doing it? And so it really helps me in my recovery, and I think it keeps me more involved.
Yeah. I feel like that too. I also feel like, I believe in God, and I debate with God a lot, and I'm like, you can't give me this position, because it's like, once you're entrusted with other people's lives, like, that matters, like, that's a big deal. And it's like, sometimes I get in like a self-centered thing where it's like, I don't want people to look up to me, because I know I'm not perfect. So I'm going to do stuff, like, not saying that's an excuse, like, I'm going to go out here and do all this, but it's like, I know sometimes I fail at stuff, and some things that I'm working on, I'm still not 100% like golden with. So it's like, I don't know. I don't want to lead somebody astray, is what I'm trying to say.
However, you can't succeed without failure.
That's true. That's true. And you're right about that. So, I don't know. I feel like we're both where we need to be.
Yeah.
Because if we weren't, then God wouldn't have opened up the doors for us.
Nope.
So, I thank you for coming on here, man, and just chatting with me. Like, you're my best friend, and I appreciate everything you've done for me.
Hell yeah, I appreciate you asking me to come on here. I think we had a good talk today.
Always.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Of course.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Remember, stay in the herd.
Bye.